that we often turn to the arts, such as music, to bring joy and healing. And it's such a shame that in a time like this, we can't gather to share in that experience together. So even though it's very hard to do this on technology, Community Concerts at Epworth is going to try to do a virtual live stream concert series and keep it going this fall. So we had to jump through a lot of hoops to make it happen. You know, classical music is such an analog thing we do that it's hard to move everything to digitally. But thanks to the help of some great volunteers and experts, we're going to do it. Our first concert is going to be October 25th, so it's coming up week and a half from today on Sunday at 4 o'clock. We normally, in the beginning of the season, start off with a benefit house concert. Our concerts are always free to the public so that nobody has to buy a ticket, pay a fee, or buy a ticket to come to our concerts. But we still want to pay our musicians because, especially now during this terrible pandemic, all performing artists are out of work right now. And so people's musicians' livelihood is deeply impacted. So we want to continue to be able to pay our musicians. So we're going to kick it off with an online fundraiser concert. And anybody can come. You don't have to give a donation to come, but we ask those who can donate to make a donation so that we can continue to pay our musicians. For this special concert, we have some, because we usually do a shindig like at a home, we put a nice spread and it's a lovely event. But since we can't do this, we're going to offer some really nice thank you gifts, like they do at PBS or KQED. Um, so we have some great CDs of performers that's going to perform on our series. We have some lovely musical face masks that are made by some volunteers. For a large gift, if you want to open up your pockets deeply, we are even considering an in-person thank you performance where we come to your door and you don't have to, if you don't have to come up, open the door, and there will be a musician delivering a private performance.
Wow.
So it's going to be a really lovely event, and especially this. I was thinking what kind of music we would like to offer during these extraordinary times. I mean, these are times that we've never encountered in my lifetime, at least. And so I wanted to program music that speaks to the time. And 2020 happens to be the 250th birth year of Beethoven. And I can't think of a composer whose music speaks more eloquently to the deep, the trials and tribulations of the human condition as Beethoven. So each of our concerts will feature a work by Beethoven. In addition to that, we've actually asked two fantastic composers of color in this country. They're two of the most renowned composers working in the United States to write a piece music just for us, for the community concerts that
Wow.
speak to the time. And so we have Daniel Bernard Roumain, who is a Haitian American composer, who wrote a piece in response to Breonna Taylor and the significance of Black women's lives. And so I'm going to be premiering a work by him. And then another composer, Kay Kyurem Ri, who's a Korean American composer from LA, and she has written us a piece kind of that speaks to being able to have dialogues and longing for these connections in a time like this. So those are two pieces that will be featured later on in our fall season. So I'm going to put in our website information. So our first concert is October 25th. So I hope you'll mark that in your calendar. And then we have 3 more concerts between November and December after that. And it will all be on our website. And if you'd like to, if you're not already on our mailing list, you can go to our website. There's a contact us list page, and just give us your email address, and then we can update you about upcoming concerts, and that's how you can get in touch with us. And if you'd like to make a generous donation to support any of these endeavors, you can also do it through our website, and especially on the 25th, and we'd love to send you a nice gift and see you there. So thank you so much for giving me this time, Susan.
Oh, you're
And
very welcome. I'm so glad you came,
I'm
Caroline.
going to put in the website and the contact information here on our chat, but I won't take up any more of your time. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much. And we appreciate all that you do to keep music in our lives. We need the arts. We need music so much right now. We always need it, but especially right now. It's such a gift. Thank you so much, Caroline. So I would like to ask everyone to please mute yourselves now during the presentation. You can unmute yourself whenever you want to when we're asking questions later on. And I'm going to record this event so that it can be accessible to those that couldn't join us today on our website. If you prefer not to have your image recorded, you can just turn off the video icon that's on next to the audio one on your screen on the lower left. And now a few words about our guest speaker. I'm so pleased to welcome Kathryn Robinson. She's been with us before. Kathryn's previous background in exhibition fabrication, combined with her lifelong passion and dedication to yoga, has led her on a decade-long journey, curating group and personalized healing experiences for people all over the world. She fuses environment, philosophy, music, sound, breathwork, and mindfulness to guide people back to a harmonious inner state. Currently, as a grief yoga facilitator, Kathryn specializes in grief release with children and adults living with chronic illness. She's passionate about sharing simple and practical skills for reducing stress with all of you today. It's my pleasure to introduce Kathryn Robinson.
Thank you. Thank you, Susan. I first want to say thank you to Susan for inviting me, and thank you, Michael, for making the introduction. She's sort of become my yoga agent in the Bay Area, recruiting students into my classes. I'm in Montana now, as I told you, but I do hail from the Bay Area, and I'll be back in a few weeks. And it's been a big transition for all of us since March. Last 9 months have been a period of uncertainty, of facing our shadows, facing our fear, facing isolation. And for me, I've also had to face being pushed out of a home and into this experience of being sort of unrooted and unanchored in my life. For those of you who saw the beautiful view before me, this has just been the last week. I have been moving around for the past 2 months pretty constantly. And through the fires and through smoky terrains of Nevada and Idaho, where there were more fires. And the thing that has kept me in this moment, in this very, very charged moment that we're living in through a global pandemic and through many unpredictable shifts happening in our country, is my yoga practice, my meditation practice, my breath practice. And I know this isn't the first time that having a practical practice of mindfulness has helped me. There have been times in the past where I have been uprooted and life has shifted, as life does, in unpredictable and sometimes horrific ways. And it is the practice that has kept me anchored. And I know that after we get through this wave of COVID and we're able to see each other and be in the same spaces with one another, I know that it will not be the last time that having a practice of breath work and movement and sound and mindfulness will help me. So all this to say that this is what I'm about to share with you today is something to cultivate over the long term. It can help you, perhaps it will help you in the next 40 minutes, but it's something to practice regularly with a teacher if you have the luck of finding one that you can meet with regularly, and bring it into your lifestyle. So how many of you have meditated before? You can just raise your hand if your video is showing. Yeah. And Michael tells me wonderful things about the meditation teachers and Qigong teachers that you have there at Epworth. So we're going to do some work with meditation, but using the breath as meditation. For those of you who were there the last time I came in and did a presentation, we did a lot of exercises around finding the breath, and we'll tap into that a little bit. But I also just want us to focus on what we already naturally have, which is our breath, something that we don't have to change at all, but that we can use as a point of focus. I find that during times of heightened stress, I personally have a tendency to go on an automatic pilot mode. My thoughts are rapid and they're unreliable. My body tightens up and I tend to react to perceived fears instead of responding to situations as they are actually happening. And so if you are anything like me, you'll probably know that that's not the most helpful state of mind. And especially that's true during this current global health crisis, which calls for our utmost presence to deal with what is unfamiliar and what is constantly evolving. So how then, the question remains, is how then can we remain grounded when the reality as we've known it is changing and changing so rapidly? Well, attending to our breath can be enough. So I want us all to find a comfortable seat. So make sure you're nice and comfortable wherever you are. If you're in a chair, that's perfect. And if you're in a chair, bring your feet onto the ground and simply feel the ground underneath your feet. Simply feeling the ground underneath your feet. And you might shift your sitting bones side to side. Yeah, so you're just really nestling into your seat. And if you have people next to you, you can snuggle up against them too. Just finding comfort in your seat. This is the first part of any practice, is coming to your seat. And then just take a moment and close your eyes. And start to notice your body, feeling your feet anchor to the ground. Bringing awareness to your shins, your calves, your knees, your thighs, your hips, your pelvis, your belly, your waist, your ribs, your chest, the whole back side of your body, your spine, your shoulders, elbows, forearms, wrists, and hands. Each finger. Noticing the throat, the neck, the back of the neck, the base of the skull, your chin, jaw, cheekbones, ears, nose, eyes, brow, crown of the head, just scanning the whole body. Noticing if there's an area that feels tight, that feels contracted, that feels pain. Maybe there's not pain, but there's tightness. And you're just bearing witness to what is, Not having to change anything or look any certain way or fit into any idea of what a meditator looks like or a yogi looks like. Just in your mind's eye and with your attention, bearing witness to what is present in your physical form. What is present on a physical level? What is present emotionally and energetically? And let's take a full-bodied breath in. So just taking a deep breath in. And sigh out. Two more like that. Full-bodied breath in. Sigh out. And then finding another full-bodied breath in, sending the breath all the way down to your feet. And easily letting go of the breath. And then coming to a natural breath. And just noticing the natural rise and fall of the breath. Feeling the temperature of the breath as you draw in. And the temperature of your breath as you easily release out. And feeling the energetic quality of the breath. What energy does the inhalation bring? And what is the energy of the exhalation? And just allowing your attention to follow the thread of breath, drawing in and releasing out. Noticing where the breath travels as you inhale. And noticing what happens to your body as you exhale. Just bearing witness to the breath. Bearing witness to the shape of your breath in relationship to your form. Nothing to do, nothing to change. Simply witnessing the breath. And if the mind wanders elsewhere, if the mind gets pulled by worry or concern about something that happened before or something that has yet to happen, just smiling to yourself, witnessing the thought. And returning to the current of breath moving through you. So our mindfulness practice becomes a practice of allowance, of allowing distraction where there is distraction, outward sounds where there are outward sounds, noticing, witnessing, inviting it in, and then returning your attention back to the breath. And the breath affirming life in this body. The breath opening you to possibility. And releasing whatever is blocking you from your truth. Nothing to shift, nothing to change. Simply allowing breath to be the anchor of your attention. For even as it shifts and changes, moment to moment, day to day, this breath keeps you connected to your body, connected to the present moment, connected to your internal landscape, connected to your external landscape. Witnessing the breath inside and outside, outside, and inside. Now take a deep breath in. Sigh everything out. Full bodied breath in. Sigh out. And let's take this next one with our arms up, reaching the arms up, deep breath in, stretching out. And then yawn out. Great. And then let's just gently take the shoulders forward and up on the in-breath. And down and back on the out-breath. Forward and up on the in-breath. Down and back on the out-breath. Forward and up on the in-breath. Down and back on the out breath, and then moving in the other direction, just switching gears, inhaling back and up, and coming forward and down with the shoulders. Back and up, forward and down, back and up, forward and down, one more back and up, and forward and down, and then taking your hands together and rubbing your hands together just to build some heat. In yoga, we call this heat, this friction that we're making, we call it prana. Prana, life force, energy, is building heat. Taking your hands up above you, and then just gently running your palms down the crown of your head, just giving yourself like a pranic bath, a pranic bath. And just beginning to really move away from the mind stuff, the mind chatter, and moving into the body. So often we forget when we're in a state of heightened nervousness and anxiety, we forget that we even have a body, right? We can be sitting in front of the computer or the news all day long and forget to eat, right? Forget to do the basic things that our body needs. So just bringing your arms down the side of the waist, down the thigh, just going as far down as you can go, and then back up the side. So just gently bringing touch to the body to remember this form, so we can really access our bodies again from the inside out through the breath and through touch and through movement. And then just pause, take your hands right over your heart center, take a deep breath into the heart space. Sigh out. And notice what is present for you. Just reflecting on the breath meditation. What has shifted? What was challenging? Well, what felt right? What felt good? And you can stay here in internal contemplation, or if you'd like to share something in the comment box, you can share something that happened for you in the comment box, or if you have a question, or if you want to unmute your box, then you can unmute your microphone and you can share something. Hi, Carla. Did you have a share?
I had a question, and that is in the breathing. You said go down all the way to your feet.
Mm-hmm.
And I had, from years ago, sort of from the belly expanding and then the chest up. I found it very difficult to change that to go, so as you breathe in and you go right in your mind to the feet,
Mm-hmm.
then the belly is that right then?
Yeah, so of course, there are many techniques that you can use to find and access deeply the breath and the diaphragm. Anatomically, that makes sense because our lungs extend all the way down, 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 all the way toward our kidneys. So forward and back toward our kidneys. So getting the instruction to breathe down into the diaphragm is beautiful. And sometimes we use hyperbole to find our breath, to send the breath even a little bit deeper, to find ourselves grounding even deeper into the floor. So if I cued you, and it might have been intentional in this case, I don't even think I realized it, because sometimes something is just coming through me and it's not coming from here. But yeah, that instruction to breathe all the way down into your feet.
Yeah, because I said,
to move beyond and really feel the way that the breath, though the breath isn't, right, the lungs don't extend down to the feet, it has the effect of creating energy and moving prana and moving energy all the way down into your feet. Okay.
Good.
So that's where that came from. But really with this meditation, my hope is that you're just able to, take something that you all have, your breath, without having to remember how many counts, right? Without having to remember the sequence of things, or how I have to stretch my ribs in a certain way, or I have to find my abdomen, to just simply notice what is already happening in your body, whether you're paying attention to it or not. You're breathing, right? And so having that focal point of something that is art, like we don't have to tell our body to breathe. Our body just does. Often though, when we're in a state of really heightened stress, when we would call, like, our sympathetic nervous system is activated and we're in a fight or flight response, the first thing to go is the breath. We tend to hold our breath. I don't know where we learned that from. I think it's partially maybe evolutionary, maybe it's something that, like, modern. I'd have to do more research about that. But I know, like, even when I was getting shots as a young child, inoculations, they always cued me, hold your breath and I'm going to stab you with a needle. And as an adult, I've had to learn, no, I need to breathe through that. Like that's the worst thing I could actually do. That's going to, like, prepare me for pain that doesn't have to be that painful, right?
Yeah.
So through a breathing practice, I've learned through every situation. I mean, even just 45 minutes ago, when the sound wasn't working on the computer, in the Zoom room before you all entered, okay, we just breathe through this and we take action. But you come to taking action from a place that's super grounded. Because the moment we start to take action and try and find solutions from a place of being very, very activated and heightened in our sympathetic nervous system, while that might save me from running away from the bear out here in the mountains of Montana, that probably won't help me with figuring something out technically, where survival isn't really the end game. Right. So we have, like, these perceived fears, and when we are activated in that way in our sympathetic nervous system and we take action from those places, we're often not really in integrity with ourselves. We're making impulse decisions. And so cultivating this kind of practice where you simply notice your breath. Notice your breath. If going to the post office, just the simple act of leaving your house now and going to the post office, has you stressed out, when you arrive, just pausing, bringing your hand to your heart, noticing your breath, making the walk there, the journey there, a walking meditation, noticing your breath with each step. At this moment, at this breath, I am safe. At this moment, at this breath, I am safe. At this moment, at this breath, I am safe. Susan, yeah.
Well, I have a question, because I'm somebody that suffered from anxiety for many, many years. That I think it's important to, like, keep in your head what your triggers are for when you feel anxious, because sometimes in the past I would find that by the time I realized I was anxious, I was already so far into it that it was hard to slow down the breath,
Mhm.
And so now I kind of have more of a sense of what things trigger me to get into that fight or flight syndrome. And so I can kind of try to think, oh yeah, I'm going to need to start to breathe now and
Right.
not forget that. So it's hard sometimes, because my problem would be, I'd be so far into that anxiety by the time I noticed it, that it was hard to get out of it again and slow down the breathing, or it wasn't working as well because I'd been holding my breath for so long.
Right. And that's where doing actual breathing exercises. So I think what you're saying, what I hear you saying is, Susan, is that's great, Kathryn. Like focus on your breath, have this simple breathing exercise. But what if you don't even have your breath to come to because you're in that state, that heightened state? And that's where, and I think we did this when I was there live. And for those of you who weren't there live, we'll do some of these exercises. That's where actually like, coming to a place where you can pause is important. Feel your body. You can all just do that. Just like feel your body. Sometimes it's just like taking a breath and going, So you can just try humming. That's an exhale. A hum is an exhale. But if you're really activated, and I mean like you're triggered, like PTSD triggered, trauma activated, like latent trauma activated, hold yourself. You can even bring your head down and just, Now you might not want to do that in front of a post office, but if you find your way to your car, you just notice, okay, that's what happened. That happened. I don't know what happened. I don't know where I was. Let me come back to my body. Because often, like when we're stressed, we start to dissociate and we forget that we have this body, this tool that is here to actually like serve us. It's not here to work against us. It's here to like actually help us in these moments. But I mean, modern day society has become so complicated with screens and with information and misinformation and the speed at which information is coming at us all of the time. It's really quite hard. I mean, most of us are in a heightened state of anxiety. I don't know a person in this world who hasn't had to deal with chronic stress or depression as a result of a heightened stressful environment. And so coming to a place where you can just feel the body, and then it's not even getting into a deep breath, it's just and if we think about the anatomy of the breath, just in humming out, what is the focal point of that? If we look at the anatomy of the breath as an inhale and an exhalation, what are we focusing on with? We're focusing on the exhalation. We're elongating an exhalation.
Mm-hmm.
So if anybody has ever experienced a panic attack or hyperventilation is when we are taking in too many inhalations without exhaling. So too many inhalations are actually going to send too much oxygen to the brain, and it's going to make you want to pass out or faint. And so the focal point that I bring into my work, into my yoga classes, or into my one-on-one work with my clients who have chronic illness, is to learn how to exhale. The inhalation takes care of itself. But what we really need to start learning how to do is to exhale. And so there's a breathing exercise that you can learn that we can do together here. And it's called 4-7-8 breath. And we breathe in for a 4 count. We hold the breath for a 7 count. And we exhale, we release for an 8 count. And the elongation of an exhalation, which is also just like a hum. That's a really long exhale. What that does, humming or exhaling for a long period of time, what it does is it tones the vagus nerve. Now, the vagus nerve is a nerve. It's a bundle of nerves, actually, that originates at the base of the spine. And vagus means wandering. The Latin root vagu is wandering. So it extends down like the roots of a tree or a plant. So you can imagine like this sort of like bulbous cluster of nerves, and then they all extend down like an entire root system. And they extend down and they connect to every major organ in your body, to every major organ in your body. And so when we have low vagal tone, right, when we're constantly stressed, we have low vagal tone. Our heart rate variability is very low, which means we can't get to a place of stress to rest very quickly. It takes us a long period of time to regulate, would be a word we'd use in psychology. So these practices, practicing regularly, and Susan, this is maybe answers your question more, is like cultivating a practice when you're not heightened, right? Having a daily morning practice or evening practice where you're practicing these breathing exercises as a way where when you're driving, then you can start to do that, will actually prepare you for when that stressful moment happens. You might not get all the way to that place of being completely dysregulated, right? Because it'll already be integrated. There'll be like a cellular memory of breathing in that way. So let's try. Do you guys want any questions? Let me just see. Can you play the harmonium for us, Mari? Yes, I can play the harmonium. And John says it was so warming. Great. Maybe that was Michael. Maybe that was Renee. Okay, so we're going to try this other one. So I want you to sit up nice and tall. And, again, the most important thing is that you're comfortable and that you go at the pace that you need to go. I'm going to offer a pace of inhaling, holding, and exhaling. And it might not be the right pace for you. One size does not fit all. So if you need to go a little bit faster, go a little bit faster. The breath in is for a 4 count. The holding of the breath, or what we call the retention of the breath, is for a 7 count. And the exhale is for an 8 count. And if you want to skip the retention, you can just breathe in for 4, breathe out for 8. Okay? So let's all just find our seats. Relax the shoulders, relax the jaw, take a deep breath in. Sigh out. Inhale through the nose, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Exhale through the nose, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. In, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. In, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. In, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now take a deep breath in. Sigh out. And just pause. Take a natural breath in through the nose. And out through the nose. In through the nose. And out. Just noticing the natural rise and fall of your breath. Observing if anything has shifted internally, if your experience has shifted internally, externally. Your hand on your heart, just bringing awareness to what is present. And then I offer you to just sit with the experience of that breathing exercise. If there's something you'd like to share, you can write it in the comment box. If you'd like to unmute and share, you're welcome to do that. Any questions or comments?
Yes, there's a question from Chris. Is there a limit for how many times you should do that breathing exercise that you just demonstrated?
There's no limit. You could do this for up to 5 minutes if you'd like. I often, will cue this breathing in my restorative yoga classes when people are lying down, and they'll start to do it and then they'll just drift off. So it becomes like a point of focus. And you get to such a deep level of release with that exhalation. If you start to get into the rhythm of it, that eventually people are just like, don't even notice that I'm cueing them to continue breathing that way. But it is a really wonderful breath work to do if you're having trouble falling asleep, or you wake up in the middle of the night. It's like, instead of counting sheep, counting the breath in, holding, and counting the breath out. And eventually, so it's not like your focus is needing to fall asleep. You actually have this anchor, right? The anchor of the breath to bring you back into the body, out of your mind. If the insomnia is from mind related stuff, and it'll take your nervous system down to a place where you can release. So there's no limit. I sometimes do this breath for a few minutes. Sometimes I'll do it like a longer just breathing meditation in the morning for 10 minutes, and I'll do a combination of that breath with something else, with a different breathing exercise. But for as long as feels right in your body, I always say. Yes, please, Rima.
Yes, thank you so much. Excuse me. Since COVID, I felt that I haven't been able to connect with my breath.
Mm-hmm.
And the last exercise was awesome. I felt like I came back to my breath. Felt so good. I guess I heard, Susan, if you don't mind me, I'm not cross-talking, I'm just related to what you shared about. I suffer also from anxiety, and I've been having trouble falling asleep, probably because I am not experiencing it consciously, but it creeps up on me unconsciously because I feel okay being alone. And actually, I hate to say this, but I'm enjoying slowing down and being at home and gardening, so I feel good. But I think the anxiety is unconscious stuff coming up. And I was earlier thinking about that, starting to realize that, and being alone at home, it's hard to just, it was nice with the group energy to step into that place of connection. So I really want to thank you. I wish we can do this at least once a week, Susan.
Take a look at the health section.
If you guys got as much, I don't know what it takes for us to once a week to get together just to do the breath and help us connect with ourselves. But okay, I can say more, but this is enough. Thank you.
Thank you, Rima. Thank you for your share. Yeah, I mean, I think it's really useful. Susan, maybe you wanted to speak to her about that.
Can I respond?
Yes, please do, Michael.
As one of Kathryn's devotees and groupies, I do this once a week with Kathryn at her restorative yoga class, which is on
Wow.
Friday night. And you register through Yoga Kula, which is here, but everything is Zoomed. And she has just enriched my life with relaxation and appreciation in wonderful ways. So if you are seriously interested, they have wonderful rates if you buy passes. They have rates for senior citizens. And I spend my Friday night with Kathryn. I call it my church experience because I walk out of there a different person than when I came in.
Yeah, and that class is really focused on, it's focused on rest. It's focused on being held in ways that we don't necessarily know how to be held. So I guide you in propping yourself up. I guide everyone with how to prop yourself up in a way where your body is able to, and your muscles are able to release different and get to a different level, a deeper level of release than you're able to get to in sleep. And then I'll guide you through meditations, and we do breath work for a good portion of that in the very start of class. And then it's just like 2 hours of, not 2 hours, sorry, 90 minutes of just really like luxurious, of just savoring the experience of being held by the earth, by being held by the props, being held by my voice, because I'll guide you with my voice through everything. And then I do some singing. But I wanted to say, Rima, like, yes, like having it as a regular thing where you're doing it with people. You know, there are lots of apps. Insight Timer is one for meditation. There are apps for breath work called Calm. There's one. There are things that you can find online, but there's really something about coming to community, even though we can't be together in a physical way. There's something about like a live transmission of being able to engage back and forth this way and know that we're, you know, in our personal homes, but we're all doing this together. And I would say, in terms of like the compounded stress you're feeling, that's sneaking up on you, because you can be enjoying the time that you're having alone, and yet at the same time not having the stimulation that you had before, the stimulation of seeing people, the stimulation of being out in the world, but getting a different kind of stimulation through perhaps like listening to the news more, or listening to everything that's happening in the world more, and getting this sort of compounded stress of the collective. And so there's a way in which, you know, we get to come to this practice to come back to center and disconnect from the collective, which doesn't mean disconnect and isolate yourself. It just means like take care of this first so that you can be a steward for health in your community, just simply by example, right? Like taking care, putting the oxygen mask on yourself first before you try to help other
the
people.
world. I just have a question. Is there another day besides Friday? I happen to have a commitment Friday nights where you do a group.
I do a hatha yoga class Tuesday evenings from 6 to 7. But that is more active. It's an hour long instead of 90 minutes. We do postures. We do breath work as well. You're invited to come to all of it or some of it. And everything can be modified from a chair. You don't have to be standing up on a mat if it's if your body just says no that day.
Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I'm putting some resources in the chat box. I put the website for Yoga Kula there. We also have a Friday 5 to 6:15 yoga class on Zoom through Epworth, and I'll put the contact info for that class as well. There is a little bit of breath work then at that class too.
I thought that how much are we done? Are we over?
No.
We have time?
Yeah.
Okay, I thought that we would, let me get my harmonium. I want us to do more with breath. because there's just so much. Like once you get into the world of breath, you can go down a beautiful, I don't know, like slide, like a rainbow of different ways in. And there's alternate nostril breathing, there's boxed breathing. It's really just a treasure chest of beauty. But one of my personal passions is voice and sound. And I didn't come to yoga for sound work. I didn't come to yoga to sing or to become a kirtan singer or anything. But as will happen when you just flow with and let things unravel as they may, it ended up finding me. And it's been a very, very powerful practice. And to me, it's the core of the breath. Sound, whether you think you can sing or not sing, sounding, vibrating sound through your body is a way to become embodied and to reduce stress. And you'll see that that we have music as a part of cultures all over the world, are deeply embedded in spiritual culture as well. And it directly relates to this grounding and softening of the nervous system. And so I thought we would do this practice of just of sounding our voices with 3 different syllables. And then I thought we'd just play with how it feels in your body. So if you sit up tall and you take a breath in and you make the sound ah, it's the vowel ah.
Ah,
Ah. Let's take a breath.
ah,
Ah.
ah,
And you just keep going. Inhale.
ah.
Ah. 2 more like that. Ah. Ah. And come to your natural breath. And how did that feel? How did the ah feel in your body? How did the ah, what did the ah, you can keep going, ah, ah, ah. How did the ah feel? I'm not going to answer for you. There's no right answer. What does it evoke? What quality does it evoke? And this is just popcorn style. If you want to unmute yourself, you can speak or you can write it in the chat box if you're shy. Ah. Ah. How does that feel?
One word is expansive.
Expansive, expansive. Did you
My
have
heart
expand
opens.
your heart? Your heart opens. Expansive. Ah. Michael
Ah,
or Renee or John? Ah. Carla? You have to go. Bye-bye. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, so Iral, did you want to share? No, you're just saying bye. Okay, yeah, so expansive, 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 heart opening. Ah. Okay, and now the next sound is we're gonna take a breath in and go, ooh. So you just let your lips, they don't have to be pursed, just a ooh. 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 Just feeling how that feels. Ooh. And just remember the ooh, feel the ooh in your body. And what does that evoke? What does it remind you of? How does it feel to go ooh, to make that vowel sound?
I wrote that I would be thinking that pastry tastes good.
Yeah. Ooh. I love that. Ooh, that pastry looks good. You're not necessarily having the experience, but there's like a reflection of anticipation. Ooh.
Oh, I had sadness.
Sadness. Ooh.
Yeah, I touched sadness.
Ooh. Yeah. Wendy.
I feel the vibration all the way down my torso to the part of me that's on the chair.
Ah, so it grounds.
Mm.
Ooh. Yeah, it can get deep. So we've gone from expansive, ooh, to deep. And now this next one, this next sound we're going to make is the sound So you just pierce the lips together, just bring the lips together, and it's just a
Mm.
Take a breath in, and with every exhale, you'll hum out. One more. And release all breath control. And any comments about that sound in your body, where you felt it, how it felt, what it evoked inside you? We can't hear you, Michael. I see that you're talking, but we can't hear your sound. It might be you need to connect to audio in the lower left-hand corner of your screen. Sorry, love. You can always write it down in the chat box. Vernon, do you want to share? No. Okay.
I feel the vibration in this part of my chest now. So like probably down to my heart, but it's a part of my lungs that I have been told I don't use very much, you know, the upper part.
Yeah. And it vibrates a bit here through the nasal cavity. You can feel it down in the heart. Yeah. For me, it evokes the feeling of savoring something delicious. In fact, Susan writes, that pastry tastes good. Yeah. Ooh is I want the pastry. Is I get to taste it and it tastes delicious. It's savoring. So we've gone from this place of
Felt it in my heart, very satisfying. I think that was either Michael or John that said that.
Yeah, very satisfying. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, so we've gone from this like expansive, like awe-inspiring quality to ooh, like a wonderment, a curiosity. How does that pastry taste? To really savoring it in your body, feeling it in your chest, perhaps feeling it in your heart, feeling all of these sounds ground you. We're going to thread the three sounds together. Ah, ooh, and That's an A, U, and an M. And that is the sound, the vibration Om. So sometimes you see that as an O and an M, but it's also spelled A-U-M. So these are the three syllables we use for the vowel sound Om. And I'm going to take my harmonium, my trusty harmonium, and hopefully everything sounds okay with the mic that I have. And I want you to just find your comfortable seat. If you want to lie down, you can lie down for this. But you're just evoking the ah, the ooh, and the And this really connects to the chakra system. The chakra system. You're actually opening the crown. You're opening the throat. You're opening the heart. And you're even like drawing down into the earth. It doesn't matter how you sound. This is not about singing. This is just about sounding your voice and connecting to the vibration. When you complete a breath cycle, begin again. Keep going. Softening the shoulders, softening the jaw. Just feeling the sound vibrating in every cell of your being. Feeling your breath dissolve into your form. Your form dissolves into your breath. And just abiding in this space in the present moment, feeling anchored by sound, by breath, by the earth beneath you. Perhaps beginning to feel for the first time, perhaps a safety in not knowing. Feeling a sense of curiosity, of awe, of wonderment, of sensuality, of savoring the here and now. And feeling the present moment like a warm cloak around you, just holding you, reminding you that at this moment, at this breath, you are safe. At this moment, at this breath, you are safe. You can say it to yourself at this moment, at this breath, I am safe. If you'd like to lie down, I always encourage a moment to lie down at the end of any meditation or any kind of breath practice or movement practice, to lie down and really absorb and cultivate all of the gifts of your practice, allowing them all to just stew. And the alchemy can happen in this place of letting go, of rest, of undoing. And just receive the mantra, Om Namah Shivaya. I bow to the divinity in all things. I bow to the divinity in you. Allow a wave of breath to wash over your body. Come to find your seat, anchoring your palms to your heart. Just letting awareness ride the breath back home to your body. Giving thanks to this breath that is always available to us, this breath that is affirming the miracle of life in this body. We bow our head to our hearts with gratitude to our lungs and our diaphragms, and these body suits with gratitude to the earth, to Epworth, to Susan, to this community. And we bow to one another for the gift of each other's presence this morning and early afternoon. And then I always love to bring one hand to my heart and one hand extended out to one another. Shang Ho, our hearts beat as one. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thanks for having me. I wanted to open it up for the last couple minutes. If you had any questions about the oming, any comments, any revelations, any struggles, any jokes.
It's a real gift in the middle of the day to have something like this. I'm used to doing this either at the very beginning of the day or at the end of the day. So it's nice to be able to kind of divide the day up and have a moment of calm.
Yeah.
More activity to come.
Well, and that's the beauty of this too, is that like we're invited with every breath to begin again. In the middle of the day, the beginning of the day, in the middle of the night, we can begin again. And the breath is a reminder. Start over, begin again, come back to what's important. Thanks for having me, Susan.
Oh, thank you so much. We really,
Thank you.
appreciate it. Thank you
Yeah.
so much. and safe journey back home. You say you're coming back to California in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, I'm gonna make my way back. I'm gonna drive back, this time solo. Sola.
How long will it take? A couple of days?
Yeah, it's about 19 hours, and I might stop over in Bend, Oregon, where I have some friends, to break it up a little bit and not be driving that much. It's been a lot of driving the last couple months, but yeah.
What is one wonderful thing that you've gotten out of this journey, and what is one thing that surprised you about taking this journey?
I think the beautiful thing I've gotten out of this journey is just surrender to the unknown. Anything we tried to plan, in advance, we had, a stop along the way. Every spot that we were supposed to be at for like several dates, all of it fell through because of fires, because of natural disasters, because of life. And so to just be open to, just and it's funny because I think that we've all been in that practice of just being open to not knowing, but to be moving into that, and having to practice that on the move, where you want to feel like you have some sense of control, and then just really honoring and bowing to the fact that we really don't have a lot of control over anything. It's been like actually such a blessing, and it's been surprising and, not surprising either, because that's what this moment with COVID is, I think, is teaching everybody.
Mm-hmm. And something was that also what surprised you, or is there anything on the journey that surprised you?
I think what's surprised me a lot is how people in the communities we've been in, haven't really been taking COVID very seriously. It's just been surprising to see business as usual in a lot of these towns, getting mask shamed in a shop in Mount Shasta. Actually, that was in California. But that it's funny to see, we live in such a bubble in the Bay Area. And like, we're aware that there are these differing perspectives more than ever, today, but to actually, like witness it and be in it, and still have compassion, and like, we're all just human and doing what we know how to do. But that's been, eye-opening for me.
Great. Well, thank you so much again.
Thank you.
And I've given people information about the stuff that you do here. And is it okay for people to contact you directly if they have questions or want to get?
Absolutely. I'm putting my website up on here as well, publicly, to everyone. And there's like a form that you can contact me through there. There's a contact form through the website. And I would love to be in touch, and I would love to see you in class, or if you'd like to set another one of these up in the future, I'd be happy to. Like, however I can serve your community. It's a real gift to me too, to be able to share.
Thank you
So much. Goodbye, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Bye.